Hi everyone, my name is Nitya and you are at my Flosstube channel, Daybreak Stitchery. This is a channel all about cross stitch and a little bit of crochet today. And usually I check in at the end of the month to show you just what I've been working on during the month. I'm a few days late this time, with good reason. I had family in town last week. We had a really nice visit, and that's just what I was doing and where I was at. I had a really good time, and they just left. They headed out this morning, so I got cobbled together the stuff I wanted to show you, and I've tons to show you. In a rare moment, I have more finishes than anything else to show you, including some FFOs. I went kind of frame crazy, so I think we're just gonna get into it. So if you're a returning visitor, welcome back. I'm so happy to be here talking cross stitch with you, and if you're a new visitor, welcome. I hope you see something that you like today. I'll show you a couple things. I got some stitchy kindness, so I'll just show you real quick a couple cute things. I got stitched items. I got cards. Thank you so much for folks who sent me cards. The friendships that I've made from doing a Flosstube and from just connecting with other stitchers in the past few years is very precious to me. So I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for any small words, or like when you message me, anything, when you leave comments like that I find that really touching. So thank you so much for reaching out and doing that. I'll show you a couple of really cute stitched items. I got this really pretty ornament. I don't know if you'll get the glitter on it. There's like little glittery, it's stitched with this glittery yarn. It's a crochet ornament. Snowflake. It's so cute, and it's from Anna. Thank you, Anna. Aguayo sent me this. Anna is Peruvian Flair, and if you look behind me here, she's a cross stitcher and a cross stitch designer, and these are both her patterns here. This is Cat's Reflection Sampler, which is like, I think it's the first finish I had when I started my Flosstube in like 2020, 2021, and I love that one. And then Chimu Words I loved stitching on too. Anna's from Peru and takes inspiration from textiles from Peru, which is really cool. So thank you. I love that. That went straight on the tree, out of the envelope and straight on the tree. And then Sarah, of course, my stitchy friend Sarah, who I talk about all the time. She goes by ModCross on Etsy. She's got a design up here too. This is her marigold right up here. She and I exchanged stuff for Christmas, and Sarah, my package has not left my house yet, but for you, but it'll be coming to you soon. But Sarah sent me this very cute It's You I Like, stitched in this gorgeous, I'm not going to be able to zoom in on anything because I don't know how it works on my phone, but this beautiful variegated thread, which you told me what it is, and I've already forgotten what it is. But if you're curious about what this is, let me know in the comments and I'll look it up. Sarah wrote me like a little letter and a card, and she told me what color this is. But it's so pretty, isn't it? I love that kind of purpley, pinkish hue. So thank you. It's so super cute. I think I'm going to turn it into a magnet. She put like a little bit of padding on it, so it's got a little bit of squish, and then it's got a pretty fabric on the back too. I love it. So I think this will become a magnet. It feels like that's what it'll be. So thank you, you all. I appreciate that so much. Okay. I have tons to show you. Shall we maybe, I want to just double check that I have all my finishes down here. I have 5 finishes this month. One I can't show you because I'm going to enter it into the Fortnite Fabrics Fair, so I think I want to keep it anonymous till then, till all that voting and stuff happens. But I'll show you the other 4, 1 crochet and 3 cross stitch. So let me just make sure I have everything here and I'll be right back. Okay. Let's start with some cross stitch finishes. I'm super excited to show these to you. Okay, this first one, you're going to recognize it because I know some of you are stitching on this too. This is Hex Hotel by D's 20 Stitches. This is on a Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers fabric. It's called Sun Kiss. And then I'm using DMC. There's a little bit of étoile, like this moon is an étoile, and then a couple of I think the like skull and bone here are an étoile. And DMC, the white and black are called for, and then the purple and green I had to switch up from the called for a little bit because I just used what I had in stash. Let me get you in a little bit closer here so you can just pan over it. This was so much fun to stitch. Really, really fun to stitch. I think I'm missing some back stitch now that I'm looking at it. I'll double check the pattern and see. Look at those eyes in the attic. There are some really cute features in this. Like, I like all the characters in the windows. The little cat with green eyes. So super cute. So I had started on this maybe last year. I don't remember exactly when I started on it, but I pulled it out to stitch on during Halloween week, and then I just kept going on it because it was just so fun to stitch. And it looks really good. I love the way it looks. I can't wait to put it out for our Halloween decorations. I think it's going to look really good. So super excited to have this finished. This is kind of a large-ish finish for me. I mean, I finish, most of the items I finish are small, like, you know, 100, a little over 100 by 100 kind of things. So this is getting a little bit larger with like more color changes and things like that. So that's that. That spider was a little tricky to do, the back stitch of the legs, but I think I pulled it off. So I'll be looking for a frame for that, and then I'll put it out with next year's decorations. So that was Hex Hotel by Dee's 20 Stitches. Okay, next finish is also, you're going to be super surprised that I got this done this month. So this is Autumn Dream by Cottage Garden Samplings. It's on a fabric by, I think it's Mystic Fabrics. It's called Please Scream Inside Your Heart. I love it. It's so dreamy. It's really mesmerizing and dreamy. I love it. Zoom in, get in a little closer for you here. And I fell in love with this pattern because of that tiny pumpkin, of course. But then the bird is really nice. And all these flowers are just so beautiful. It's bittersweet is the flower. And I forget what the bird is. It's like a bird and floral series, I think. I'm not sure. I don't remember what the series is called. But the title of it, I didn't bring it down here. On the picture, the title cover picture, it has the name of the flower and the name of the bird. So bittersweet is the flower. I actually had to Google it. I had never seen a bittersweet plant before, but the blooms look exactly like this. They have these oranges and kind of coral pinks in them. Really, really pretty. So I am thrilled with this, so super happy, and I really pushed it. The majority of my December stitching was this piece, because I kind of had it in the back of my head. So a year ago in December, I was madly stitching to finish a gift, which was also a Cottage Garden Samplings piece. It was Snow and Love. It's a snowman family, because I was gifting that one. I had a deadline to finish it. And then when I pulled this out in November to stitch, I thought, you know what? This could be my second December in a row where I have a finish on a Cottage Garden Sampling piece. So let me see if I can pull it off. So that's kind of what I had in the back of my mind. And I really, really pushed, like, did a lot of stitching on it this month to try to keep that going. So very happy with that. And now I kind of wonder if I can, like, keep that up. Do, like, maybe start a Cottage Garden Samplings during the year and then just, like, have that be my December finish every year. I mean, I've only done it twice so far, so it's not really a tradition, but it's kind of interesting to think about. I got that, I think I showed you last month. I have it upstairs. That Needleworker, the January pattern in the new Snowman series by Cottage Garden Sampling. So that might be my finish for next December. Okay, I have one more cross stitch finish to show you. This is totally unexpected. It's a salve. I had two other cross stitch finishes. The one that I'm submitting for the Fortnite Fabrics Fair, and then this one. They were both SAFs, starts and finishes in December. This one's going to be surprising because I didn't anticipate working on this, but I just kind of went for it. So, you know this pattern, I think. It's a Jan Hicks pattern, and it's called Palace of the Winds. And it's really pretty. She designed it off of a cushion that she saw at a furniture store, maybe an antique store, I don't remember. But it's got all these like neat little sections, these kind of geometric bits. And this is part of the Cross Stitch Lab. I think it's going to be a series that she's doing where along with the pattern, so like in the pages of the pattern, you get a link to a YouTube video. It's a private video, so you have to have the pattern to have access to the video, where she just goes into detail about topics in cross stitch. So this one was about variegated threads, And that was kind of interesting to hear. This is called Palace of the Winds, a study of variegated threads. And it's created with 3 colors of cottage garden threads. One is kind of a lighter one, a medium tone, and then a darker one, but they're all 3 are variegated. So it's she designed the pattern to kind of maximize how those colors and tones all play off of each other. Jan's done a lot. I think she has like multiple colorways of this. So she's already looked at Cottage Garden sampling threads, which are all, they have really nice variegation, and has put together different colorways. So if you don't want to do a pink one, she has other ones. I, of course, wanted to do my own combination of colorways. And so I chose, I actually have, let me show you here. So I kind of liked this like brown or mustard tone. So I picked out 3 of those. So for the dark tone, I picked out this one. It's Charles. It's so beautiful. It's looking kind of purplish, I think, on the screen, but it's really a brown. It's a dark brown, like a cocoa brown, kind of like DMC 09. And then the middle tone was this dandelion. So if you hold them together, see how they kind of go. They both have that sort of yellowy gold in them, except one has a medium gold with it and one has a dark brown with it. And then the third color I threw in was this one, Pebble, which again has the gold tone in it, but this time it has a really light variegated color with it. So I kind of winged it. I was using Abby Top Knot Stitcher, had a sale in December, so all her threads were 30% off. So I was just going off of the pictures on the website, and I just said, well, let's just try it and see what happens. Then when I got them, I thought they went really well together. So what did I do? I did not stitch the whole pattern. It's humongous. But I chose one section of it, and I'm considering that my staff, my start and finish. That way I only needed to get one skein of each, and I could still get the idea of how to play with the colors. And still get a sense of what the pattern is like without feeling like I have this huge whip to add to my list. So this is on Lakeside Linens. It's a 32 count actually, which I don't usually stitch in, but I had this kind of scrap and it showed off the colors pretty well, so I just went with it. So it's a maple sugar is the color. And I think it looks awesome. I'm so super excited with how it turned out. Now, this pattern is basically genius. It's a genius pattern because what is happening here? So for example, if you take this motif right here, this sort of like fancy candy wrapper kind of looking motif there. The way that it works is the outline, there's like a layer on the outside that is stitched in one of the variegated threads. I want to say the darkest one because there's that dark brown there. And then the next layer in of motifs is stitched with the medium, or I guess the light tone, because there's that pebble, that white from the pebble. And then there's stuff in the middle that's stitched in the medium tone. But when you stitch them all together and they all have like that one color that kind of unifies them, it sort of looks like one variegated thread to me. It just looks like a really awesome variegated thread. And I was a bit intentional because the pattern is so small and I had whole skeins to work with. I was a bit intentional with my color use. So for example, you'll see that like in this motif, there's dark brown right here. So when I stitched it this direction, I used the dark brown and then it faded into the gold. And when I came to do the bottom, I also used a dark brown and tried to match it a little bit. So it's not a perfect match, but I was kind of intentional with that. Same thing here. Like I started with dark brown on the outer edge here, and then came the bottom, I also started with dark brown. Same thing over here. See, like this part of it up here is dark brown, and I worked my way down. And then same thing here. I started with the dark brown and worked my way in. So there's like a little bit of color symmetry going on, which I don't normally pay attention to. Same thing with these motifs down here. Like I kind of intentionally started like these, how did I do it? I started the tip with dark brown and then worked my way down this side of the motif. And then again, I took 2 strands of the dark brown and worked this side so that they were a bit symmetrical. So that was kind of fun. It truly is fun to play with variegated colors, and the pattern is set up so that you can do that. You can play around with where the colors go, and take a look at how it's really interesting to see how the 3 skeins of colors meet and match up and coordinate. It was really, really fun. So I love this. I could totally get now how someone would want to do the whole pattern. I kind of want to do like another section maybe, because this was really fun to do, and it was really quick. So this was, this is the part here that I did, and I just went down to this border. But it'd be fun to try like this motif would be really fun to try, or like this right here, and just have it be kind of offset like that. This down here, like these could all be individual safs basically if you don't want to do. That's really pretty. So there's a lot going on here. I think there's plenty more to try with that pattern, and I'm super excited to have gotten a little taste of that. I love those colors. I don't really stitch much with Cottage Garden threads. I've never gotten them before. No, that's not true. I have gotten a couple colors before, but one was a really dark blue, very pretty, but it didn't have like a wild variegation like these did. So I haven't really done much with it. And I think I also have kind of a pale orange sort of one. But this was fun because you kind of, if you watch Jan Hicks's Flosstube, the episode where she introduces this project, she kind of goes into how you need the 3 tones of color, and that's when you have that in mind and you pick out your colors that way, I think it makes it a more enriching experience to try stitching with those colors. So yeah, so that's it. So this is Palace of the Winds by Jan Hicks, and hoping someday to do more of that. I kind of have a really cool memory of this pattern too, because before this pattern came out, when I was at StitchCon, I have my StitchCon shirt on today. When I was at StitchCon, my table mate Julia and I discovered that we had both brought a Jan Hicks pattern with us, Narnia. We were both working on Narnia, and just talking about how to use variegated thread on that one. And so Julia said, oh, well, let's just go talk to Jan about it. Let's just because Jan Hicks was there. So I actually got to meet Jan Hicks. And she's so nice. She's a really, really nice person. She talked about our projects with our versions of Narnia and how, you know, her thoughts on it. And then she said, well, let me show you this. And she pulled out her model stitch of this. We didn't know that it was this at that time, but she said, well, I'm playing around with these variegated threads, and what do you think? Can you tell the difference, or can you see? And I just thought it was so beautiful. It had like a beautiful tapestry look. Like you couldn't even tell that it was 3 threads. It just looked like one super amazing variegated thread, and it was just awesome to look at. And it was just so cool that she had a model stitch that, you know, didn't even have a name or anything at that time, and she was just kind of readily talking about it and showing it off. So that was pretty good memory. One of many great memories from StitchCon. So okay, so that's Palace of the Winds. So I have one more finish that I can't show you yet. I'll show you that one next month. But I'm curious to know if any of you are entering the Fortnite Fabrics Fair. I'm actually pretty excited about it. I used to enter our state fair many years ago. I did it for a few years, and that was really fun. It was really good for goal setting, I felt like, because I had like intentions of, yes, I'm going to mail this piece in. I want to make sure I finish it, you know, so the fellas starting up this fair kind of gets me excited again to finish something. So I just photographed that was a staff as well that I'm submitting, and I photographed it. I just have to mail it in. So I'm kind of excited to see I think how it works. You'll have to check their Flosstube to double check, but I'm pretty sure what's happening is we have like another week to get in our submissions, and then they're going to be creating their categories of the competition. It's a cross-stitch competition, a friendly competition. You finish an item, you have to fully finish it, take a picture of it, send them the picture. There are about 6 different categories you can enter. So you tell them what category you're entering your piece in, and then they're going to create Facebook albums with all the photos. They'll be presented anonymously, and then people who are on the Facebook page can vote for, you know, which ones you like. So I think it's going to be fun. I think it is really fun, and I imagine it's going to be like take some effort. So I think it's really cool that they're doing it. And they said that submissions have been rolling in now over the holidays because people have stitching time, I'm sure. So I'll have to get mine in as well. I'll show you real quick. I have a finish on a crochet item too. And I made this huge cowl. It's really, really big. It's really fluffy and big. And I didn't choose these colors. They all came on one big skein. It's a Karen. Kate Karen is kind of a mass-produced yarn you can get at the big box stores here. And I'm trying to use them all up because I want to get like some more natural fiber yarns eventually. So I'm trying to use these up. So I made this cowl. And it is based on it's like the first like 40-ish rows of the Mellery cowl. So the Mellery cowl. So we have sals, right? Stitch alongs. In the crochet world, we have cowls, which are crochet alongs. So those kind of work the same way as the stitch alongs. Like there will be a crochet designer who puts out like several rows of a pattern each week. So you crochet those rows, and then the next week you get the next few rows, and so on. So Mellery, it's two crocheters named Melissa and Ellery, and they mash their names together to make up the Mellery cowl. I'll link it below. If you're a crocheter, I'll link it below if you don't know about it. And everything I mentioned today, I'll link I'll put the project info and the names of people who I mention. I'll list that all below in case you need to track anything down. So the Mellery cowl was free on Instagram. They had posts every week showing what to do for each row. And it's meant to be a blanket, but I just said, well, I don't need more blankets. I have so many crochet blankets. I have tons of crochet blankets in the house. Let me try for a cowl for when I go out. You know, it gets cold. We had our first really cold day here. It was right before Christmas. We had a day when it was -11 degrees at night. So for my international friends, I looked it up. That's like -23 degrees. It was really, really cold. So that weather, that like freezing cold weather where you have to stay inside, like it's dangerous to be outside, that's when I take my crochet out, basically. It's like, finally, it's cold enough for me to crochet something. So anyway, this colorway is called Plum Pudding. Isn't it so nice? Like all these different purples and grays. And actually, I may have also used a second skein that is a different color now that I think about it. I finished one skein and then started another one. So that's what's going on here. So I love it. It's really pretty. It's like I tried a whole bunch of new stitches that I hadn't tried before. So that was really fun. So I got kind of new patterns out of it. So it was good fun. And this was a day. This took me a day to work on. I worked on it all day. One day. So that's it. So I got in a crochet finish, which is fun. I like to crochet too. Okay, I have whips to show you. Let me just make sure I got those sorted out, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I have 3 whips to show you, and these were almost all stitched during my break time. I'm on break, and so last week we had family in town, and it was Steve's family, Steve's side of the family. They haven't been up here to see us since before the pandemic. We've seen them, but they haven't been up to see us. So it was really nice to have them up here to visit. And we just mostly like sit and eat and talk and watch movies the whole time. It's very relaxing and fun. And so I stitched a bunch. So I'll back up though. First whip I have to show you is my winter solstice stitching. I worked on Sepideh, which is a pattern by Miriam, who is MarroomyCrafts on Instagram. And I got a whole bunch done. I started this pomegranate tree, and then her face, and then finished out an arm right here, one part of the arm, and a little bit of the shirt here for the top of the dress. So super happy with that. This is using DMC 154. It's very, very dark grape. And then this is an XJU design 32 count. It's light ultraviolet blue or something like that. Really, really pretty. I have something else that I've stitched on this that I'll show you in a little bit. I love it. This tree is really fun. I love how that's turning out, the pomegranate tree. And I love the expression on her face too. It's going great. I love it. There's a lot of kind of full coverage stitching coming up here. These are, I would have probably put up a picture by now somewhere, but there's a sunrise in the skirt here. So these are the rays of the sun. So there are these big bands of stitching here. And then this one has a really fun border that I'm excited to get to also. So definitely will be stitching more on this. And that was my summer solstice stitching. Which one was that? Was on the 23rd maybe? I don't remember when that was. Okay, next one is Étude by LenaCrossStitch. I haven't pulled this out in a long time. Here's what it looks like. Are you seeing the length of it? Yes. So that right there is the length of it. It is 8 squares across and 10 squares down. So it's 80 squares. And I'll come in a little bit closer so you can see what they look like. Each one has a different geometric pattern. I worked a ton on this. I've been working on this the past few days. I've gotten a ton done. And I go into kind of phases with this. Like, I barely had anything on it started when I picked it up. I've done a lot. Like, all these ones that you're seeing right now that are filled in, like these ones where the motifs are all done, I finished all those out. They had just barely been started, so I finished all those out. And then I get into phases where instead of finishing out squares, I just want to get edges done on them. So I'll take a really long length of DMC. I'm using 2 strands of DMC. It's the called for DMC. There are a whole bunch of colors of DMC, maybe like 20 different colors. And I'll use 2 strands, and this is a 36 count. I think this is Persimmon by Fiber on a Whim. I don't have the tag on it, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful neutral. It's like a salmon pink, and then it has like splotches of brown and pink and red in them too. It's really, really pretty. Fantastic neutral. So what I'll do is I'll take maybe like a 24 inch length of 2 strands of DMC, and I'll try to see if I can make it all the way around the edge of a square. And then I'll do the squares adjacent to that. So I made it all the way down this week. I filled in, basically what I did this week is I filled in those squares, and then I made my way down to the bottom. So that's the very bottom. And then I started filling in some squares, like those 3 squares that are the greens and blues that are filled in there. I filled those in this week too. So I'm enjoying it a lot. It's just a lot of stitching. It's a lot of stitching. And some of them, like this green square here, that's almost like a negative stitching. Like you're stitching more than you're not in the square. Not all of them are like that. Like that kind of bronze colored one there wasn't as intense to do. But some of them just take forever to stitch. So this will be taking me some time to work on, I think. I'll hold it the other way so we can see it this way too. I do love it though. I love all these colors that were selected. I think it looks great on this fabric. And the patterns are surprising. It's like each one is a mini finish. And you don't really see it when you're looking closely at the pattern. The pattern I'm using is black and white. And you're not really getting a sense of like where the negative stitches are and what the pattern's going to be. But once it shows up stitched, it's actually really cool to see it. They look really good. So it's very pleasing. It's very pleasing to stitch. And I will definitely be working on that more. I'd love to just kind of keep going and flush out the rest of those squares. That would be awesome. And then go back in and fill in. That one, this is the one I was 100% enabled by Shiloh CrossStitch MD, who has finished this ages ago, I think, but that's where I first saw the pattern. So that's a fun one to do. So I got a good chunk of work done on that one. And then my last whip is by MamaWitchXStitch. I started this last year and then haven't got back to it. I don't know what this fabric is. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's a dark fabric. It's a dark variegated mottled fabric. I don't know what it is. Could be, it feels kind of stiff. So I don't know if it's I don't think it's a Picture This Plus. I'm not sure what it is. Anyway, this is Wicked Siblings by MamaWitchXStitch. I'll throw a picture up so you can see what they look like. I got a whole bunch done on them this week. And they're looking awesome. I think it looks super cool. You can see kind of the trees going in. I got a good chunk of the siblings in there and their little skeleton friends. There's a skeleton goose and a puppy. And then the kind of first layer of what's going in with the ghosts is coming in there. Got their clothing in and a little bit of the mushrooms. So it's coming right along. I think it looks really great. The colors are so good. I had to do a little bit of a color swap on the sailor outfit that the little sibling is wearing because this is meant to be stitched on a totally black fabric, like as dark as possible. It's charted for that. So that outfit is actually charted in a couple of different shades of blue. It's like DMC 930 and 931, I think. And one of those blends in with this fabric because it's more of a gray, like a charcoal gray. So I made a decision to change that up so it wouldn't, you know, blend into the background. Other than that, I'm using the called for colors. So that's good fun. I took this out because I was watching a Flosstube by Lizzie, Frizzy Lizzie Stitches. I think her name is Lizzie. She goes by Frizzy Lizzie. I think her name is Lizzie, but she was talking about how she was working on a MamaWitchXStitch. I want to say it's that one with the possum and the banjo that lots of people are doing. And she said something like how that one stitches up really fast. Like she finds that she can get a quarter of it done in a day, basically. Like she can finish, yeah, basically like a quarter of the pattern she can finish out in just a few hours and not even a full day of stitching. And so I thought, oh, I gotta give that a go and see if that's how quick it stitches up for me. But I don't know. I'm working through it much more slowly. Some of it is fill-in, like the skirt here. I just got tired of stitching on that. It was taking forever to stitch. So I skipped around a little bit and did some of the plants and other things instead. So I will definitely come back to this. I enjoyed it, and I have almost all the colors. I have misplaced. My DMC stash is just a mess. I have not stuck to I have a great system in place, but I have not stuck to it. So now I have like basically something like this that I had kitted up. I had all the colors I needed, and I actually started stitching like this there's a darker orange leaf here. That's a DMC 301, I think. So I had actually started stitching in it, and then I remember I took out that 301 to put it with something else because I started stitching on something else, and now I don't remember what that is. I didn't use my check-in, check-out system from my DMC boxes, so I didn't track where I used it and what I did with it. So now I need it for this, and I don't know where it is, and I don't want to buy a new one. So I may just substitute. I'll see what I have in stash and substitute the rest of the leaves. I mean, these leaves all kind of change color anyway, so it'll probably be okay. I'll make do, but I'm kind of frustrated with myself that and I knew it too when I took it out. Like I should have done something. I should have put like a note card in this kit that basically said you're using the DMC 301 with something else. Here's where you can go find it, and I didn't do that. But whatever. My DMC is a work in progress. That's talking about not talking yet about plans, but under plans, I want to get my DMC organized, my flosses organized, and try to finish some of my projects like this one that use up a lot of DMC so that I can like finish it and then organize that stuff. It will happen. Okay. I have before we talk about, but usually now I'd talk about plans, but I have been on a framing frenzy. I have at least 8 items here that I framed up. I've been framing all morning. I just went on a binge and I bought a whole bunch of frames because I got tired of looking. I've been waiting and waiting to find thrift store frames that have like the exact amount of decoration, plus can be painted, plus are the right sizes, and I just haven't been finding what I need. So I just went ahead and bought a bunch of frames, and I framed everything this morning. So I'm going to do a little bit of a tiny finish parade-ish thing. So let me just double check that I got everything I need for that, and then let's do it. Okay, everyone. So I have some finished items I'm going to show you. I'll show you these finished items. I got my act together, and I have a giveaway ready for us. So we'll do a giveaway, and then we'll talk real quick about plans for 2023. Okay, so I fully finished a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm going to go through these kind of quick because I didn't rewrite down all the details about what everything is. I'm going to try to just talk from memory. But here's the first one. So I think this is called By the Light of the Moon. and I think it's by Little House Needleworks. I think I'm right in that. This is a pattern that Sarah and I both saw at House of Stitches when we were at drive-in on our way to StitchCon. And so I'm gifting, Sarah, this is coming your way next. I know you want to stitch on this next. I used a variegated sulky. It has a food name. It's like biscuit or butter, I think. And it's really pretty. It's got like golds and ecru and cream kind of tones, variegated. Very, very pretty. And it just says by the light of the moon. And it's got that cute deer on there too. So this was really fun to stitch. I think it's on a peppercorn by Color and Cotton. And it's an 18 count, either an 18 count or a 20 count. And I used just one strand of sulky over the top of it. So that's a really fun one. And all my frames I got from the Rusty Roof on Etsy. I've ordered from them before. And they have like these nice, they have plain frames, but also these nice ones with a different kind of texture and shape to them. And then they have kind of the same sort of stains that I sort of go back to the same, find myself going back to the same stains. So, and they also have some awkward sizes. Like, this is a 5x7, but I have a couple that are like 6x8, which is hard to find. So I can get some unusual sizes from them too. So that's one finish. Okay, next one is a tribute to women cycling. So this bicycle is a free pattern by Brigitte Dado. This quote is by Louise Roussel, who is an amateur cyclist but talks a lot about empowerment through cycling. And it's a quote by her. And then the fonts, I think the fonts are Lord Libidan fonts. I think I found them on Lord Libidan's. You know, they there's a huge library of free fonts on Lord Libidan's blog, cross-stitch blog. So, got that one done. The shape's a little awkward because it's like cutting off a little bit on both ends, but I think it's okay. I'm just happy to get it framed. It's on a beautiful Fortnite Fabrics fabric. Don't remember what it's called though, but I really love that. Beautiful yellow. It's like sunny yellows. I love that. The flosses all came from way back when I was in the Color and Cotton Floss Club. So these were all colors from one of the months. Beautiful. You can totally see the variegation that I love so much in Color and Cotton threads. Like if you look at the bicycle. Really nice variegation. I love it. Okay, next one is Let's to Trees by Jordan Nasser. So I showed this, I think, maybe last month. I had finished it. So you've technically seen it finished, but not fully finished. And this just fits perfectly. If you're stitching on this, what color? This is on a 28 count, maybe a fiddler's clop. I couldn't figure out what fabric this was on. Or like a rustic oatmeal kind of thing. But it's a 28 count, and I stitched it over 2 using 3 strands. So the stitches are really, really packed in there, which I love. How much coverage you get on the stitches when you use that many strands on 28 count. And with a 28 count, it fits perfectly in an 8x10 frame. So I know some of you are thinking of stitching on this. If you're thinking of sizes, it's pretty, it fits in a standard size frame, which is nice. I used Silks for You PR068, which is the red and black variegated that you're seeing like kind of in this floral pattern here. And then the green is dark avocado green. It's like DMC 934, I think, or 935. One of those. I think it's perfect. I love the color combo. And I want to do another Palestinian Tetris pattern with these same colors. Love that. Okay, next one is, oh no, I don't remember what this is called, but you're going to know it right away. It's a modern folk embroidery. Is it Isabella's Heart? I think it is. Isabella's Heart by Modern Folk Embroidery. And the called for colors are Leo and Roxy, which I haven't tried yet. I've never ordered those flosses before. I went with a sulky. I made my own conversion. It calls for a red, a pink, and a white or off-white. So I just had sulky that I used for that. It's on a color in cotton. It's like a green, which is gorgeous. I just love it. I don't know what it's called. I have it probably in my old notes so I can look it up. But I just love this so much. I think it's beautiful. It looks like great in this red stained frame. And this was really good fun to stitch. This may have been a Saf back when I stitched it. It stitches up pretty fast. They're really lovely motifs in there. So, yeah, another finish. This was a super awkward size to frame. It was too long, too wide for the 6x8 frames, so I went by a, I think I went with a 7x7. I don't remember what this 8x8 maybe 7x7. I don't remember what I eventually chose, but so it doesn't quite match. It's a square frame with a rectangular piece, which kind of bothers me a little bit, but it's fine. In the end, it looks pretty good, so I can learn to live with that. Okay, next up is a piece that I did. It's a quote by The Hill We Climb, a poem by Amanda Gorman, which she read at the inauguration, presidential inauguration in 2020. So this is a quote from the poem. Let me try to read it. If we're to live up to our own time, then victory won't lie in the blade, but in all the bridges we've made. That is the promise to glade, the hill we climb, if only we dare it. So it's an excerpt from the poem, and I made my own collage of fonts. I ordered a couple different font files from Etsy. I don't have the list of what they are. One is from Christy Patterns. I don't remember what the other one is, but I can look them up if you'd like me to. And I just kind of made my own collage of fonts. So I stitched different words in different fonts and sort of mashed them all together. So some of it was planned. I charted it out on graph paper a little bit, using the font alphabets and then just trying to piece stuff together. But by the time I got down to here, I was just winging it a little bit. And then I used DMC 939 and just put in a few different, like there's a hill here with a sun. And then this just some easy borders, some didn't have to think about it kind of borders to fill in the empty spaces. So I love it. And then as I do, sometimes I stitched really close to the fabric border. So this was another one that I had held off on framing for a long time because I couldn't find a frame where it would fit because it was just so close. There was all this fabric on this side and then no fabric on these two edges. So I just went ahead and said, that's fine. I'll just frame it. I'll offset it. And I think it still looks okay. I can live with it. So I'm really happy with this piece. I love this poem and I love her poems in general, Amanda Gorman's poems. And this was really good fun to do. Okay. Next one you haven't seen in a really long time because I think I finished this. This was another one of my really early Flosstube finishes. It is by 2x2 Stitch Art, who is a Ukrainian designer. If we want to keep supporting our Ukraine, Stitch for Ukraine. I haven't checked in on Stitch for Ukraine in a long time, but now I think I probably should. This is a good reminder to go back and see, do designers need any support from us, or we probably need to be donating some more. I keep hearing that winter is going to be really rough there, so maybe this is a good reminder for all of us to just check in and see if there's anything we can do. So this is by 2x2 Stitch Art, and it's called an ornament sampler or carpet sampler. Anyway, this is just one part of it. It's made up of 4 squares, like this large square, and I just did the one. So I've done part of it. This is using DMC 550, which is one of my favorite colors. I love that purple. It's beautiful. And I thought it would go nice in this it's a gray frame. I feel like that would work. So finally got this framed. I've been waiting for ages to do this. This is one of those 6x8 frames I was telling you about, and it fit it perfectly. It's a little cut off on the top, but I can live with it. Love that one. I've been waiting ages to find the right frame for that piece. Okay, we're still going. I have a few more to show you. This is just a store-bought frame, so this is not from the Rusty Roof. I got it like on clearance at Target, I think. But this is Litha. It's a freebie by the Primitive Hair. There's a whole free series on like pagan holidays. I'm pretty sure I found out about this from Julie, Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World, from her channel. And I chose Litha because it's the holiday that represents summer solstice, and that's when my partner and I got married. Not intentionally, it just happened to be that it was on summer solstice, and now we use that to remember our wedding anniversary, because we're both like super terrible at remembering that kind of stuff. So this is real cute. This was one of my early pieces where I used flosses from my Color and Cotton Thread of the Month Club, and I just loved these flosses. Like the variegation in this yellow I think is so pretty, and then there's variegation in this green too, but I don't know if you'll really catch it. It's very subtle. I just fell in love with those flosses. The dark color is it DMC 4000? It's the color variations that has browns and grays in it. So it's charted, this pattern is charted in black, but I used that color variations instead to kind of brighten it up a little bit. I love it. I can't wait to put this up. I don't know what this fabric is. It's an even weave, I think. And I don't have a lot of even weave. It must be something I added to my stash super early on. I'll just use that, but it's a pale blue, so I think it's yeah, it'll be perfect. It'll be perfect on our wall. I can't wait to put it up. Okay, next one is by Leela's Studio. It's called Bee Sampler. This is one of my favorite things I've ever stitched. Look amazing. So this is in an 8x12 frame, and I know it doesn't hug the pattern exactly right, but it works, and I'm going with it. It probably would have fit better in like a 6x12 instead of 8x12, but whatever. I went with it. I love it. I used the called for colors. So the two yellows, it's mustard seed, I want to say, and sunflower maybe. I don't remember. You'll have to check the pattern and see what the colors are, but they're two Gentle Arts colors. And then I started running out of one of them, so I had to use another one. I want to say it was Honey, or maybe it was a Classic Colorworks. Anyway, I had to start bringing in a third yellow shade. Like these acorns are in a different shade than the called for. I just used something I had in stash and supplemented with that. So anyway, totally love this pattern. And I think it looks awesome framed up. So this is my other, when I showed you Sepideh that I'm stitching on, Miriam's pattern, I am stitching it on a light Ultra Blue Violet by XJU Design. This is the other pattern that I told you I was going to show you that I've stitched on that too. It's really pretty. I think it makes like a nice kind of neutral to stitch other things on. Lots of colors would show up really well on this, both light and dark. So another one that I just love and have been wanting to get framed for some time. The awkward size was kind of intimidating to try to find a frame for. Okay, I have, I think, 3 more to show you. This is, you haven't seen this in a long time. So it's an adaptation of a Summer House Stitchworks pattern. There's at least a 2-part series called American Harmony. So that's where like this and this, the main motifs are all that. But I added a quote by Kristen Garvey, who is the person behind all of the yard signs and posters that we see up advocating for all the things we believe in. So I stitched her message around it. So it's kind of a tribute. I have her name in there and it's a tribute to her. So I think it works great. My framing is a little wonky on this, I think, but I'll sort it out. I need to just tug some of the ends down, I think, and even it out. That was really good fun to stitch, but it's on Color and Cotton Boardwalk, which is a fantastic neutral. I absolutely love it. And most of it, the red and the blue, most of it is stitched 2/2 using the called for classic colorworks, but the lettering is 1/1, and this is a 36 count fabric, so it's teeny tiny. It was a real pain to do. But I wanted the message to fit, and the only way to make it fit was to use smaller stitches. So I did it 1/1 on 36 count. And really, the stitching of it wasn't hard. It was when I made mistakes and had to frog it, that was super hard to figure out. I had real trouble frogging 1/1. But I do like it, and I would definitely do that again. Kind of use a combination of both 2/2 and 1/1 in the same piece, because I think it adds some flexibility in what you can piece together when you do that. So that was good fun to do. Okay, next one is Ishq by MarroomyCrafts, and this might have been, maybe this was Miriam's first pattern. Miriam has had like an outstanding designing year. So have all of my designer friends. I've just been seeing the coolest stuff that I want to stitch by all of them. I'm so excited for, like, it's been a fantastic year for designers, I think. New designers especially. And so I think this might have been Miriam's first pattern, but it's in Farsi. It's the word love in Farsi, Ishq. And you can still get this. Miriam's patterns are all on Gumroad, so I think you can still get this there. And I stitched this on kind of one of my fave colors of fabric, which is no longer available. I think this is Dill by Picture This Plus, and they ran out of the dye that was used to do these yellow, some of their yellows. So like Mellow and Dill were two of the discontinued colors. They're so pretty. And the floss is Color and Cotton. It's Merlot. And it came in a thread club. So it was good. I was able to use not even a whole skein. It took like half a skein to do it. This is an 18 count Aida, and I used 2 strands to do 18 count. That was fun. I love it. It's so pretty. It's simple and pretty. Okay, I think we're on the last one. Okay, this is Aventail by Ink Circles, and it's a super small pattern. I want to say it's like 70-ish by 70, and so there are some Ink Circles patterns that are that small. And I used a Thread Gatherer Silken Colors for it, which is Familiar, I think is the color. So it's Halloweeny. It almost looks kind of like Halloweeny / Mardi Gras a little bit. I didn't do anything intentional with the colors. The most I did was that when I finished one strand, I tried to pick up stitches with the same color and keep going. So there's really no symmetry with this. It's just kind of a lot of colors. Just like a mishmash of colors. But I think it's great. I love like the brightness of this. I would definitely do more of these with like crazy variegated yarn, I think, that, or thread. I think these sorts of patterns, these tiny ones, are really good ones to play with. So I think that's it for finishes. I feel so good getting that stuff framed. I know I'm going to have a whole bunch more in 2023 that I'll want to get framed as well, but I wanted to get a jump on some of them. I just got tired. I was cleaning out the spare room, you know, to have family stay there, and I just had this stack of finishes. It's like, I'm tired of them sitting here. I want to get them framed already. So I just got a bunch of frames and went at it. So I hope you enjoyed that too. Let me just gather. I want to do a giveaway, and then we'll real quick talk about plans for 2023. Let me just get that sorted out, and I'll be right back. Okay, everyone. Thanks for still being here and wanting to hear more about this. We're almost done. I'm not doing a whip parade this year. I had an enormous one. If you are still wanting to see whip parades, I know there have been a whole bunch that have come out this past week. If you're not burned out and you want to see one, you can watch my one from last year. It was from a year ago, basically. My end of December video was a whip parade. And it's a 2-parter. It's really long. I have like 100 whips, so I showed a whole bunch of stuff. But I'm not doing another one. I just want to use that time to stitch. It takes forever. Making floss tubes just takes a long time. It's almost like a whole day thing. So I just didn't want to deal with it this year. I want to stitch instead. And I felt good getting all these finishes. I feel like I feel like I've shared what I want to share. So, but maybe this coming year, I'll think about doing a whip parade. I'd like to, well, we're kind of getting into plans here a little bit, but let's just go with it. I want to tackle my whips list. It felt really good to finish Hex Hotel and Autumn Dream. So I kind of want to like make more progress on my whips. It's been really working so far to have on my phone, I have screenshots of my I keep an Excel sheet with all my whips. And so I have screenshots of that. And it really helps me to look through and just remind myself like, oh yeah, I have fantastic whips that I just need to pull up and work on. So that's my goal for 2023. I want to work on those. So that's it. I have like no whip go board this year. I have like no sals that I've started now in January because I've just been focusing on like finishing and chipping away at some of my whips. So I think I'll just keep that going. I thought about doing, should we pause and do a giveaway? Let's pause and do a giveaway and then we'll have some final thoughts on plans because I don't really have anything fleshed out for plans. So October was my 2nd year Flosstube anniversary. I was finishing my 2nd year on Flosstube. If you're new to my channel, I've been cross-stitching like almost my whole life. I taught myself to cross-stitch when I was a little kid. And it's been like on and off a part of my life. I love cross-stitch so much. And when I first started watching Flosstubes in 2020, I had never known about Flosstubes before 2020. And Shiloh at CrossStitch MD, like one of her videos just popped up in my YouTube feed. I had never known that people make videos about cross-stitch. I had never connected really with other cross-stitchers. So like joining Flosstube has been like a transformational experience, and I've met a whole bunch of people. You're all lovely people, and like I've spent days talking cross stitch with people, which is just incredible for me to think about. I love it. I've loved the whole experience. So I've been on Flosstube for 2 years, and so I'm on year 3. Year 3 is going to be about chipping away at whips. Anyway, I wanted to get together a giveaway, and I've just been, school was like crazy busy at the end of the semester, so I haven't had a chance to think about it. But I know exactly what I'm going to do for a giveaway now. I'm going to give away some threads. So I had shown you the start and finish that I did for based on Palace of the Winds by Jan Hicks. So I have a spare skein of the 3 colors that I used. So I'll show them to you once again. This is Charles. These are all Cottage Garden threads. That was the dark, had the dark tone in it. The medium tone was Dandelion. And then Pebble had the lighter tone in it. And then I'm throwing it, so I'm going to give the set away, and I'm throwing in a 4th skein, which is Sunny Side Up, which kind of has similar colors. To me, it was very similar to Dandelion. They look almost identical to me. This just had a little bit more, this brighter gold, and I went with Dandelion instead. So I'm going to throw that in as well. So I'm going to send this set of 4 threads to anyone who's interested. To enter the giveaway, please follow all the usual giveaway stuff. So please be 18 or older. Please don't mention giveaway. Please be a subscriber. Let's pick a word. The word should be maybe sunny. The word is sunny. And what else? All the usual disclaimers. I'll send it anywhere. You can be from anywhere and I'll send it. The only thing is you have to also be okay with if something happens and either my postal service or your postal service somewhere along the way gets lost, they won't be replaced. I won't be doing that. But if you can live with all of that and give it a go anyway, use the word sunny, and I'll show you the set again. It looks like this. And you use it on whatever you want. You don't have to use it on Palace of the Winds. These are just pretty colors. You can use it on anything. I mean, working on that Palace of the Winds, that little Saf, has given me courage now to just play with variegated threads. So if you want to grab yourself a copy of that pattern and try it out, like try these out on it, I say go for it. It was a really good experience. But if you have other ideas, use it for it's a giveaway. So once you get it, it's what you do with it is what you do with it. But so that's my giveaway. Keyword is sunny. You know what to do. If you're interested, leave me a comment below with the word sunny. And then I will have the names. I'll select the name. I'll use random comment picker and choose the name that I'll announce in the next month's video. We'll do it that way. So this way, if you need it immediately, I would say be careful with that because this won't ship until February. I'll announce it end of January and I'll ship it in February. That's it. I mean, plans, we talked about it a little bit. I'm working on whips. Oh, Stitch for Pride is out. The information's out on Dee's channel. I'm definitely doing that. I think it's great the way it's organized. Dee's amazing and has put in like an unbelievable amount of work already. And all we've seen so far is January, and there's already so much work that they've put into putting it together. So I really hope I have about maybe 200 people who watch my videos usually every month. I would love it if all of you would join in and do something. Like we need more people to care about this. So please think about it. I'll link Dee's channel below. You can see the information video about it. It's basically a campaign where we learn about trans issues and then we pair that up with action, whether that's donations or other things. There are other options in the list. And then we partner that up with our stitching too. So I don't think I'm going to be using any of their monthly stitching prompts, but I don't think I'll be doing that. I'll be chipping away at Trans Pride Tapestry, which is Dee's pattern. So that's going to be my stitching, but I do want to do the learning. I think the learning and the action parts are really important, but let's just have a lot of us participate. I mean, learning is like the easiest way to take action. It's not really action even. It's like a baby step into doing something. It takes so little effort on our parts to like click a video and watch it, or read something, or like part of the challenge this month is to check out books just to like read something new by a trans author. I think that's amazing, and I would love to chat with more people who are doing this, who are joining in on it. I really hope that like the 150 to 200 of you who watch my videos, would you please consider joining in on this so that we can get some momentum and have some good conversations about this, and at the most basic level support some human beings who we really care about. I have students and family who are trans, so this really matters to me personally. I care about them and I'm scared for them sometimes. So these are just small ways where we can get involved. So let's please do that. Let me know if you are going to do this. I put a post on Instagram and asked people to comment if they were going to join in, and I got a couple of comments from wonderful people, but I was really surprised that not more. I don't know what it is, because social media, people might not want to be very public about things. Maybe you don't want to comment on it, or I don't know what it is, but we need to know each other. We need to know and have conversations about who's in this and who's not, and I think there's power in that. There's power in our numbers getting involved in this. So please check out Dee's video on Stitch for Pride, and then think about what you want to do for that. If you want to use the stitching prompts that are there, or what you're going to do with that. And then tell me about it, because I want to know. So that's the only kind of solid plan I have for 2023. Definitely doing those monthly prompts, the learning and the action parts. And then working on whips. Let me pull up my notebook. I've kind of played around with a hashtag. I have an idea. Okay, so I have so many whips. And then I also have a long list of projects that I still want to start. For right now, I'm just putting them in the memo app of my phone. Like every time I get the urge, normally I would run and kit up something and start it right away, but now I'm just keeping a running list of projects that I feel really excited to start, which has been a good practice, because basically already it's like 20 projects in the list. But already, now that I've been thinking about it, I've been doing this for the last couple months, there are some items in the list that I'm not so crazy about anymore. You know, it just took time, and different priorities change. So I think it's good to list them and not start them right away. But I have an idea to maybe focus on whips that are, how do we phrase this? So for example, Miriam, I love Miriam's patterns, as you know, and I started stitching last year on the Magical Carpet Menagerie. Do I have it here to show you? No, it's upstairs. I don't have it to show you, but you know, it has like Wonky Cat is in there and Zippy Dog and all these really cute critters. So I started a piece on that, and now the new series is going to be, Miriam just did a video releasing the new drag, what's the dragon's name? Fuzzy Dragon. And you know I'm going to want to do that. So I'm trying to think, maybe my focus pieces should be on the designers whose projects I know I want to go on and have new starts on, but I want to finish my current whips by them first. So I want to finish a whip by Miriam before I start like Afshan Sampler. Her border sampler is on my like #1 on my list of projects I want to start. So I was thinking of any of you. Are you in that situation as well, where like maybe you have a cottage garden samplings project that's a whip, but then you also have your eyes set on like another one that you want to start? Maybe we could chip away at those whips and make room for like the new ones. So I was trying to think of like a hashtag to go with that would help me focus on those kinds of projects. And I was thinking maybe like, you know, with the idea of like we're finishing something and there's something else queued up in the playlist in the queue. So I was thinking of maybe like the queued up Sal or a playlist Sal or something like that. Maybe queued up. Yeah, maybe queued up Sal, like with the idea that like I'm working on this and I'm set on finishing it with the idea that I have something else queued up that I'm also equally excited about. I think I'll play around with that. If I decide to use it, I'll let you know. I'll share on Instagram about it. And I'm curious to know if any of you have projects like that. So for example, this MamaWitchXStitch, I have another, she has this mushrooms one that I really want to do, but it's like, I want to finish this one first before I start another one by her. And there are others too, those frogs that are camping around the campfire. I love that one. So it'll just, if I work on this and tag it with the queued up Sal, you'll know that I have my eyes on multiple patterns by that designer, and I'm trying to chip away at the whip that I have working on. So I think that's it, everybody. Thank you so much for being here and for listening and for wanting to talk cross stitch. I hope everyone's had a good holiday and had a great start to your new year, and I hope you're either doing or not doing all the things that you want to do or not do. And even though I'm a couple days late, I'm still going to try to record my video at the end of the month. I'll just show you what I've been working on since now. Thanks so much. Have a good day, and I hope to chat with you soon. Bye.